Trade rumors are escalating. A report reveals a blockbuster trade that would be a game changer for the Anaheim Ducks. We get into exactly what that is in this edition of Ducks Digest. Hey, it's Mike Nelson. Make sure to subscribe. We are the brand new Anaheim Ducks YouTube channel. Daily content on the best team in California. So make sure to hit that subscribe button. But let's get right into the story. As we know, the Ducks are probably going to be active in the next few weeks. The draft is this week, but they're not going to be done. After the draft, we're going to probably see some more movement from this Anaheim Ducks team, or potentially we're going to see some movement from this team in the next few days before Friday. But there's a big story out there about John Gibson. John Gibson, as we know, the Anaheim Ducks goaltender, he has spent his entire 11-year NHL career with the Anaheim Ducks, is once again in the trade rumors, a player that the Ducks could be trading. You know, this guy has been in the rumors for years now, at least 2 to 3 years. John Gibson's name continually comes up month after month. Every time we get close to the trade deadline, every time we're in the offseason, John Gibson trade. It has been going on for a long time. But now it seems like things could be a bit different, right? I mean, now I think the Ducks are in a different position with Lucas Dostal, a goaltender that is definitely becoming a star. He's a star in the making, right? I know some people out there probably think you're crazy, Mike, but no, Dostal is a very good goaltender, right? I think we saw some flashes of greatness last season, and now John Gibson could be on his way out. And like this headline says, John Gibson reportedly willing to accept a trade to one Canadian team, right? It's been a challenge to find a trade partner for John Gibson. Anaheim Ducks goaltender John Gibson is reportedly willing to accept a trade to the Edmonton Oilers, who need an upgrade at the goaltending position. Yeah, they sure do. With the two guys they got in Skinner and Pickard, I think they're both not guys that they can depend upon in the playoffs. And the Oilers are probably going to be very aggressive in the next few weeks and in the offseason to try to get a goaltender to replace at least one of these guys, right? And they want to keep McDavid, right? I mean, they don't want to lose Connor McDavid. This guy is on his final year of his contract. You know the rumors are going to start to ramp up about Connor McDavid, getting traded if he doesn't sign a long-term contract. McDavid saying he's not going to rush into a decision, which is not good news if you're an Oilers fan. So they're going to become a bit more aggressive when it comes to getting a goaltender. And that's when the Anaheim Ducks could take advantage here and send John Gibson to the Oilers, right? John Gibson would be willing to accept a trade to Edmonton. This is from David Pagnotta, NHL Rumor Report, tweeted this out. Sportsnet 960 originally reported it on that radio station up in Canada. But this is a huge story, right? During a recent edition of the Sheet podcast, NHL analyst Jeff Merrick noted that the Ducks and GM Pat Verbeek are going to be asking for a high price in return for any potential acquisition of Gibson, which could include a pair of first-round draft picks. Imagine that, get a couple first-round picks for John Gibson. I think that's very good. I mean, I would definitely do this trade. I know the prices were high for the last couple years for goaltenders. I believe that the ask from Anaheim for Gibson was 2 firsts. Now I heard that softened a little bit, but the going rate for a goaltender is still high. The prices have always been high on goalies, especially around deadline time, of course. But now, I think now the idea of Gibson getting look at his numbers from last season, right? 11-11-2 with the 2.77 goals against average. It was a pretty solid year for John Gibson on a team that, of course, did not make the playoffs. And the Ducks are a team that struggled at times, as we know. They ended up having a great second half, played very well after the All-Star break. Fortunately, of course, they didn't come close to making the playoffs again. Another bad stretch around the holidays, right, which has been plaguing the team the last few years. But, Gibson was pretty solid. He dealt with some injuries. Lucas Dostal, for me, was a better goaltender last year, and that's why I think it's time to trade John Gibson. I mean, I don't know what everybody thinks out there. John Gibson is a $6 million cap hit. This guy is expensive. We've known about that for years now. Gibson is an expensive goaltender. This guy, of course, at one point was maybe one of the best goalies in the NHL. That's no longer the case, right? One of the most frequently mentioned targets, this is, of course, from NHL insider Frank Saravelli of Daily Faceoff. Gibson is an immediate boost for Edmonton, right? I mean, honestly, I think if Edmonton had the opportunity to get Gibson, they would definitely do it, right? Because they need help. Gibson, like I was saying, counts $6.4 million against the Ducks salary cap. But here's where things get interesting for the Anaheim Ducks and the Edmonton Oilers, right? It might be someone to play in tandem, of course, talking about Gibson to go along with Stuart Skinner, or they could trade, of course, Skinner to make room for Gibson and, create even more cap space. But also, there's the idea about Victor Arvidsson. John Gibson and Victor Arvidsson share the same agent, right? Gibson, currently on the Ducks, winger for the Oilers. Victor Arvidsson and Gibson share the same agent, so this could potentially be a trade possibility, right? Arvidsson for Gibson, right? Gibson, of course, reportedly asked for a trade a couple years back. Supposedly, it didn't happen. It's unclear whether it was a real, report or not. But it seems like, Gibson has been wanting to get out of here for a while, right? I mean, it's not like this is not the first time we hear about this. So, like I was saying, Victor Arvidsson and John Gibson share the same agent. So this is where things could get interesting for the Ducks and the Oilers, right? I mean, the Ducks could potentially get Arvidsson and maybe 1 first-round pick, 1 second-round pick. You hope that the Oilers would give him 2 first-round picks and Arvidsson for Gibson. I think that would be obviously a steal, but it's unlikely that the Ducks are going to get 2 first-round picks if they get Arvidsson, right? Now, Victor Arvidsson is obviously a talented hockey player. This guy was very good on the Nashville Predators before COVID. Remember him, like 2018, 2019? This guy was scoring 30, 35 goals a year, right? This guy was a solid player about 6-7 years ago, right? He's 32 years old now. He has definitely tailed off, right? Unfortunately, he went to the Kings. Things didn't go too well. And then now with the Oilers signed a 2-year contract, he had a very disappointing season last year. And even in the playoffs, too, only scored 2 goals in that playoff run for the Oilers all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals. So it was not the best, time for Arvidsson with the Oilers. And the Oilers probably want to trade him away, $4 million. And I don't know if you know, but I mean, hopefully you do know, but I mean, the Oilers just traded Evander Kane earlier today, right? They just traded away Evander Kane to the Vancouver Canucks. So they are obviously becoming very aggressive. They want to put together a team here because McDavid, could be on his way out. So the Ducks got to take advantage here. I don't know what everybody thinks. I think John Gibson, his time, he had a great time with the Ducks. We can't bash this guy. He's going to, I don't know if he's a Ducks legend, but, he had a good career with us. But I think it's time for the Ducks to move on. There's still 2 years left on that contract. If he has a bad year next year, they're not going to move him that last year. They're just not. They're going to be stuck with him for 2 years. This is a big opportunity that the Ducks should not pass up upon. Trade him now. Trade him to a desperate team like the Oilers. Get a couple first-round picks and maybe get in Victor Arvidsson as well. Imagine Arvidsson, Chris Kreider on the same line. I like that. So, I don't know what everybody thinks. Make sure to subscribe, and let's go Ducks. Woo!